Behold, the wild zealot grinder, using one of its favorite weapons, the frozen scythe. Frozen scythe users are among the most hated of zealot grinders, and today we join them. Alright, today we're making a frozen scythe. I've wanted to make one of these for a while, not really for this purpose, but just because I've had the recipe for ages and I was just too poor or too cheap to buy it. So we have plenty of money chilling from Diana, so we're gonna go ahead and withdraw a good 7 mil, should be plenty. But this recipe is found in the ice collection at 50,000 ice. You can craft the frozen scythe with a full stack of enchanted packed ice, which goes on Bazaar for 6.1 million coins. That's a lot of money. But luckily we already have 19, so we only have to buy 45. But that's still 4.8 million coins, so that's a little bit painful. But let's go ahead and toss it on here. There we go. Ability Ice Bolt shoots one ice bolt that deals 3,296.8 damage and slows enemies hit for 5 seconds. There we go. Let's see how much damage we deal with this in Crimson with a tiger pet. We don't even deal enough to kill mobs. We are going to be using an Enderman pet a lot of the times when we're using this set, but we'll also go ahead and pop on our final destination and see how that does. 33,000 damage. Honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. It's not really going to be used for much other than killing zealots at this point in the meta. We're gonna have better weapons for a lot of other things, and we instantly get a special zealot, bro. I guess it's pretty effective because that's kind of nice, but we will commence to be hated by all of humanity. And we just got an ender monocle somehow. I think someone dropped it on us or something, but actually you're not supposed to be able to do that now. I don't know, but bro, we like instantly got a summoning eye. Not bad at all, but this is a very expensive weapon, man. If you're gonna save up for this, you might as well just save up for a Juju bow, in my opinion, because the Juju is gonna do pretty much the same thing, and it's not going to cost you mana. So you can just left click, boom, right click if you want to every now and then. But frozen scythe, way out here. How much melee does it do? 41k. All right, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. But this is really its main purpose in the meta at this point. There's not really many other places that you're going to find frozen scythe users. And honestly, there's not really much point in upgrading this thing. But guess what we're going to do? All right, well, we dropped one eye. That's enough for me. Made back a bit of that money that we just spent, and we're probably going to spend all that money that we get from that summoning eye also on this, so that'll pay for some of the enchants that we do. Now this thing does not have any gemstone slots, so we don't have to worry about that part, but we do have to worry about enchanting it. So let's go ahead and throw it in here. We'll go for sharpness, scavenger, looting, experience will be nice, giant killer will be good, but mainly we're gonna want to get our hands on Ender Slayer. That'll be the big one. First strike and then Ender Slayer. We'll just skip the rest. I guess we can go ahead and pop Siphon on there as well. Why not? Maybe get some vampirism. We might use this in the case of us fighting an Endstone Protector or something. I don't know. I don't really see us using it for much other than this, but we were dealing 33,000 damage. Let's see if this increases it at all. And we are using a level 93 Enderman at this point, so we could definitely get more damage out of it if we use a sheep pet. Right now with an Enderman, we get 22. Why did it go down, bruh? What the heck? I think that went down, but I'm really not sure why. Maybe I misread it the first time and it's the same. Let's go with that. Let's at least put heroic on it. That'll help out quite a bit. There we go, heroic. Now let's see how we do. Now we're not going to be using these to fight the guys in the Void Sepulchre. Those boys be a little bit strong, but our damage has increased by about 1,000 it looks like. So nothing crazy, but not terrible still, considering how cheap heroic is. The big changer is going to be hot potato buck, so let's get our hands on some of those. There we go. 20 extra strength and damage. Now let's see how much that helps. It did not seem to do much. Again, I think maybe 300 damage increase is what I'm seeing. Not that good, but there's one big thing that is going to help us out quite a bit, and it's not going to cost us a dime, and that is swapping our accessory reforged to Scythed. Before we were on hurtful, which gives strength and crit damage, nothing for magical damage, but now we're going to get intelligence and ability damage. So we should have a very large increase in how much damage we deal. So we were doing 23,500 before, and now we deal 36,000. So that's a 13k increase from getting 800 intelligence. So intelligence is definitely the most important stat on this thing for sure. Like if you're using this as a left click weapon, that's kind of sad. You should at least be using a Ragnarok axe if you can afford to get your hands on a frozen scythe. But I can see how this would be very nice to use. I haven't actually zealot grinded in a while. I think the last time I did this, I was just off stream and trying to feel some nostalgia, run around in my young set with an Enderman pet on. But zealot grinding is definitely a mid-game strategy, but honestly it is a pretty fun strategy as long as you have the right tools. If you are on the losing end of other people having frozen scythes, it's kind of a bit less fun, not gonna lie, but it could definitely be worse. But a lot of people look at zealot grinding as a very toxic part of the game at this point, and they're not exactly wrong. It is very heavily focused on whether or not you have a good ranged weapon and how high your speed is. So getting to the point where you can one-shot zealots is still a very big deal, but at this point that's not really what matters. It's more of how many kills you can get in a minute, because that will determine how much money you make from this method. But there is one final thing that we're going to do to this before we throw it in our museum, and that is going to be starring it. So we go to upgrade items. It takes ice essence, which I should have plenty of. I don't think there's any other item that I've used ice essence on. I don't have an ice spray wand, and I haven't used it on Frozen Blaze yet because I don't have full Frozen Blaze. And it's very, very cheap. That final one was 30 ice essence, so that whole thing only used like 100 ice essence, probably less than, to 5-star. So that was very, very cheap. Let's see how much it increased our damage by. We were doing, I think, 35,000 or something like that. I'm not even sure. I can't remember. We're doing 40,000 now though. Yep, 40,600. That is not bad at all. 57,000 on that second hit. Very nice, very nice. Now, if you don't have that much mana, then you are going to want to get your hands on an Ultimate Wise Book. It costs 49 mana to shoot it, and if you hold it down, that's how fast it shoots. So you can definitely run out of mana if you hold it down, but I have like 2,000 mana right now, and I'm not going to be holding it down, so we're going to be fine. But it is going to depend on your setup. Now, if we do use Young Dragon armor, that's going to increase our speed by a bit, but our intelligence is going to be quite a bit lower, and that decreases it by like 13,000 damage. So again, that part won't matter for this because the main thing we want is efficiency, and speed equals efficiency. So also you're going to want to be a little accurate with this thing. The range on it is not that huge. If I shoot to the right of them, it's going to hit, but if you shoot completely off point, then that's kind of on you at that point. So you are going to want to make sure you get your shots in really good. And these Endermen don't just stand still, so you are going to have to kind of predict if you're shooting from a far range. But if you're in a good lobby, you won't be able to shoot from a far range because people are just going to kill them before your shot gets there. But this is a very mid-game method, like I said, so if you can afford a frozen scythe, then you really shouldn't be grinding out these. You should probably be focusing on your mining gear more, and then you can make a lot more money from mining, or even dungeons. Now, I would try this out in dungeons, but honestly, I don't really have a mage setup for dungeons anymore. That's about the only class besides healer that I don't run at this point. So, because at my point in the game, there's not really much point in running mage if you don't have a Midas staff or a Hyperion. So, and I don't have either of those. So we're not going to test it out in dungeons, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's probably not that good. If we go to our museum and check out the Dreadlord Sword, it has 103 damage, 71 strength, 70 crit damage. But our Frozen Scythe has 108 damage, 45 strength, and 50 crit damage. So you can already tell this Dreadlord Sword is a bit more powerful. If we take it out and go and try it on something, Frozen Scythe deals 21,000 to these guys, Dreadlord Sword 15,000. So the Frozen Scythe is going to be better, but honestly at this point it's just a glorified Dreadlord Sword, because you can tell that it is going to shoot a bit faster compared to the Dreadlord Sword. It takes the skulls a little bit longer to get there, but it's really not that much different. It's just a little bit slower. And the Dreadlord Sword has a much wider range of destruction. Dreadlord Sword, you shoot it here, it's gonna hit it. But you shoot the ice spray wand there, it's not gonna count. So pros and cons to both, but the Dreadlord Sword costs like 5 coins compared to this thing. So I am gonna have to say that this doesn't have too much place in the meta at this point. There's not much you can do with it that you can't do with other items that are cheaper. And the one thing it is good at, it's too expensive to be doing that. So we'll go ahead and donate it to our museum. This is gonna fill up our first weapon page completely. So that's a pretty big deal. It's going to be a while before we fill up the second page. Atom Split Katana is going to be very expensive. Axe of the Shredded is going to be pretty expensive. But we'll go ahead and throw this in here. So if you guys have a guess as to how much this is going to cost, please let me know. I'm going to go ahead and guess 8 million coins, something like that. But let's donate it and see. 7.5 million coins. Not bad. I wasn't too far off. But the last time that we checked in on our museum, I think it was at 272 million coins. But also the last time that we checked in, we learned they are now counting some of the items from Crimson Isle. The Delirium Necklace, the Scoville Belt, and a bunch of these other items. Vanquisher set counts. Fervor Armor, Molten set. For some reason Crimson Armor doesn't count, but that might be because I have it as hot, because my Terror Armor does count. But we've got a lot of armor sets here that are going to count for a good amount of money. So our value is now 359.5 million coins. So we're on our way to the Gilded rank. If I put all my items into the museum, honestly, I think if I just put my Divin set into the museum, we get Gilded rank. Let's check that real quick. There we go. We got it. Just right off the rip. So if we put that in there, we instantly get up to 500 million coins. But I do use this set a lot, so I'm gonna take it back out. But we can upgrade our bank to the Gilded rank if we ever wanted to, which I am gonna want to pretty soon. Currently my bank limit is 100 million, and I could go up to where my max balance is 1 billion coins, so we might have to do that at some point. But for now, we're gonna chill with what we have. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on Zealot grinding and the Frozen Scythe, and if you did, please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on our way to 1,000 subs. As of me recording this, I think we need about 42, so if you could help us out with that, that would be great. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next episode of Museum Mastery. God bless.